Hello, this is Apostle Byron Cooper. This is part 3, where we are closing out our session on these particular topics on the restored woman. I'm going to be focusing more in this particular passage of the restored woman, talking to Jenny. Jenny and Pastor Leonard, we're here again the third time, but I want to respond to you, Jenny. You know, we left off talking about, I believe, some of the relationship with your father and how God restored that and healed that. But what have you experienced from, you talked to different women. I don't know if all of them was white women or mixed, but what type of impression or how are you treated from black women being married to Lenny?
I think there's mixed. I have some that have no issue, and then there are others that there's a clear tension that I feel.
Immediately you can feel it.
An immediate tension. Most of the time, I feel that when maybe they've met him first, and they don't realize that his wife is white.
Wow.
And then when they meet me, I can feel this like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And so,
Yeah.
but it's a mix. It's just like with, I think, anyone, even with white women, it's a mix.
Yeah.
And then usually when I experience that, I just lead with love. There's nothing you can do. Nothing's going to break through that but Jesus. So it's like all I can do is lead with love and let God do the rest.
So then how do your children, what do some of your children experience?
That's
they
been
go
interesting. So we live in a really diverse area of St. Louis. So North County is probably the most diverse area in the St. Louis area. We moved there for that fact.
Okay.
And all of our kids were very young. They hadn't even started school yet when we bought our house. And even in our diverse neighborhood, every single one of them have had comments made. Just from both sides.
Okay.
They've had white kids saying you're too black to be friends, and they've had black kids saying you're too white to be friends.
Okay.
Usually in the elementary
Right.
time span,
Yep.
usually around the second grade. Second or third grade is when that's happened. So they've
Okay.
all come home with those mixed emotions of like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
And where do I fit in?
So what do you as a mother, mothers obviously are the ones that cuddle and cover and help bring the healing, where the father will come along and say, listen, I understand what you feel, but you're going to have to get some tough skin. That's the way we men are. You guys are covering and help heal,
That
but
is
we're going to
definitely the difference.
Yeah, we're going to say to you, listen, we are proud of you. We love you. Nothing's going to change. You are who you are.
Yeah.
We love you just the way you are. But you're going to have to put some tough skin. The Bible calls it faith.
Yeah.
You're going to have to put up the shield of faith and ignore those people. Those
Yep.
people don't know no better. Those people do not understand what God has done. And what you need to do is help them understand that by walking in love. And that's
exactly
what
what it
I have to do. My son, when I went through the divorce with his mom, he had a very hard time with that.
Yeah.
When I left he was about four, and I knew that I would have to go down there to save this relationship. You got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And the sacrificing was the time I talked to you guys. I had to go consistently, all the time. Sometimes coming back, just from the weekend, turn around, coming right back because I had to go to work the next day. I'd be falling asleep at the wheel because it's 13 hours.
Yeah.
And I have to pull over and take a cat nap just to make it home.
Yeah.
That happened 3 or 4 times. And so he didn't understand all of these sacrifices, but he saw it. And he had a hard time with my wife. We go out to eat, and Teresa would sit next to me, and he would get up and get in the middle. Just come and sit in the middle, like you ain't authorized to sit that close to my dad. And I had to say to him, and sometime in front of Teresa, that's my wife. And I know you don't understand, but your seat is over there. Okay? And then I would have to talk to him and help him understand that in secret. And now they are extremely close. And when he saw that in the house, even though he was not there, he was treated the same.
Yeah.
You got your own room. You have your own bath area. Madison has her own bath, but she has a lot more, which I think why you doing all that. I don't think she need all that, but that's your thing. But what I'm saying, but when he saw that there was no difference, it said something to him about Teresa.
Yeah.
And the wall just gradually kept coming down and down and down. So is that what you experiencing? You starting to see the wall with your children being able to deal with those type of things come down?
I would jump in and say that making sure when they're experiencing any hateful stuff, anything that is that's going to make them feel a certain way, making sure we don't put walls up. Okay. I will say Jay has done an amazing job of creating that safe space for our kids to have any kind of conversations with her. Now, I will say they will jump to her before they jump to me as far as these conversations.
Right.
Because I am the safe space. Just say put on some thick
Well, I'm ready to blow the world up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to fight for my kids and all of this. And sometimes that's not what's needed.
Yes.
But I think even now they're starting to recognize, okay, maybe I need to talk to daddy on this one.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it's like, no, let me talk to mommy first and then I'll talk to. That's just how it's worked.
You pretty much, we men become the exterminator.
Oh yeah, I'm knocking everybody out.
And I think when they were young, they were afraid of that.
Yeah.
And now what they're recognizing is that is actually beneficial. Because he's in their corner and he's going to back them.
Right.
And mine's a little bit not as strong, physically, but I would say I'd echo what you said earlier is it's a lot of prayer. And it's asking them to say, like, look at the fact that God has uniquely designed you.
Yes.
He's uniquely designed everyone. And the only thing that's going to make them change is the love that you show them.
Absolutely.
It is by our love.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what changes people. You have to show them Jesus in every capacity of your life.
Absolutely.
And that's what's going to change the people around you.
And it takes a lot of dying to the flesh to be able to be in ministry.
Yep.
If you're not willing to die, you need to stay away from ministry.
Yeah.
Because it will demand you to die.
Well, not only that, if you're not gonna die, you might as well not get married, and you definitely better not have kids.
Yeah.
Because you're sacrificing in both areas, especially as a man, especially as a dad. You are sacrificing. And so a lot of times when we're talking with couples, it's like, you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Because the moment you say I do, it stops being about you.
Absolutely.
You ready to have kids? Because I'm telling you, the moment she tells you I'm pregnant, your whole
world is different.
Man, everything's different.
So have you and Pastor Lenny have had opportunities to give counsel to multicultural relationships to help them understand, okay, when you cross this line, these are some of the issues you got to deal with. Are you prepared for that? Have you guys been able to experience
we have.
Yeah.
And I think most of the time when we start talking about it, they're already aware because they've already been dealing with it.
Okay.
It's not when you get married that you start experiencing it. It's jump when you
it's from the jump.
When you meet them and you start dating, like day one, you start dealing with some of those things. And so I think it's made us stronger for sure as a couple and tightened us in ways I don't think that we would have ever been otherwise.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is making sure that our home is that place of peace.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like I've always had the attitude of like, I'm not going to go out here and face the world fighting tooth and nail, all to just come home and have another fight on my hands.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have literally made the decision of, man, she is not my enemy.
Yeah.
We may disagree on some things, but we don't argue, man. And I'm not just saying that on camera. We do not argue. We don't.
We don't have time.
We don't have time. So we'll have intense fellowship. What I like to call it.
Yeah.
But I'm not finna argue with my best friend.
Yeah.
I'm not finna argue. I'm not about to argue with the gift that God has given me.
Yeah.
When you get a precious gift, you take care of that gift.
I said it this way, Jenny. When my wife when she shift gears, and I'll look at her and say, okay, now what voice are you listening to? And that came out of when when Eve listened to serpent.
Mm-hmm.
And so if she gets in a certain gear and I know this is not her, I'll just take a quick pause and I said, well, sweetheart, I don't, what voice are you listening to right now? Mm-hmm. And I'll just get up and go down in my study. Well, that says more than me sitting up saying, okay, you don't have to do this, you don't have to say that, you don't have to say, because she already knows what that means.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of spins off like you said, Lenny, I'm not going to argue with you.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
You know, because I don't want that in my house.
Yep.
No.
You know, the house is enough going on in the world.
Thank you.
So when I come there, that place has to be a place of rest.
Yep.
Yeah.
It has to be a place of peace because I'm dealing with so much out here.
Mm-hmm. And our kids recognize that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Our kids are watching, our kids are observing. And so part of it, like I mentioned to you earlier, of us as a church being in 2 Corinthians, chapter 3 talks about being a letter of Christ, meaning people are going to read you, people are going to see you. Are they reading Christ? Wow. Are they seeing Christ? And so as parents, as husband and wife, the number one audience is our kids.
Yeah.
So I want my kids to see a healthy, beautiful marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Because at some point, my girls are going to get married.
Absolutely.
At some point, my son is going to be married.
Yeah.
And so I want my girls to see what it looks like.
Right.
And what it should be like.
Absolutely.
And so that's our kids are the number one audience.
Yeah.
And then that carries over to their friends and
right.
seeing stuff like that. I love when the friends are over mm-hmm. and you will hear something, man, I like what your parents got.
Yeah.
That means we're doing our job.
Yeah.
Or we'll be at the school and we'll hear one of the kids yell out goals because they see us walking together, holding hands, whatever. Yeah. That's the joke with their friends. Goals. Yeah. So that's part of it, man.
And it's so true because I to be able, when I do have the meetings and I start doing the banquets, I was literally felt great about being able to say, there's no arguing in my house. There's no strife.
Yep.
And I would tell them, even in my point of not having the money like my wife did, we never struggled financially. That's what was so amazing. God kept me in my position. He increased her in her position.
Yeah.
And we never saw financial struggle. I mean, never. And I've been married to her now over 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying this is that my children have seen that. Mm-hmm. They have seen that.
Yep.
And they've seen to grow. And I go out of my way to make sure that they do not see us in strife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now all of them, they'll know all the kids know my wife, and they'll just say, well, I'm going up to the room. They have learned how in their own way, deal with that.
Yeah.
And so when at times when I'm down there at my study at an odd hour, they already know.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
He's down there doing what he knows he needs to do.
Yep.
And mama is being mama right now.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but those are the things that makes us great, and you can't curse that.
No,
you can't see that as a negative thing. You have to see that as that's a growing manifestation of helping us to become better.
Yeah, we tell our kids every rough patch, every wall that you may hit, every hard time that you have to go through, it's an opportunity for the Lord to show up. Yeah. It's a matter of how you're going to respond. So even with the stuff that we went through, even within her own family, it meant more to me. I'll say it this way. I was dealing in the midst of all of that. 10, 11, 12 years it was more important for me personally for my kids to see how I would respond.
Wow.
Doesn't matter what what anybody else is saying.
So
what are my kids thinking? What are my kids gonna say in how I respond to the mess that's going on?
Is there times you said to yourself, I just don't want to deal with them?
Oh God, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's
what brought you out of that? Because all of us have gone there.
Dealing with the question of what's important for her, to her,
Wow.
right? Her relationship with her dad was important to her. So if it's important to her, it's important to me.
Yeah, in spite of how you see me.
Yep.
Well, you know, that's extremely powerful, because the thing is, I'm my wife's best friend, and you know, when my wife married me, the family cut her off, and it's going on still to this day.
Wow.
But here's the thing. I understand that, and all of them got saved under my ministry.
Wow.
But the thing is that, and I'm transparent. Sometimes my wife say, "Well, Byron, you're a little too transparent." But I told her, I said, "You have to trust me because I'm sharing stuff that Jesus would share.
Yeah.
If he was here." And I say the problem is we want to hide things that can heal.
Yeah.
And
can't shy away from it.
Yeah. So you know, but here's the thing: they have not been able to deny that woman is blessed.
Yeah.
And you know, and that in itself, you may not want to accept me because it's all about, you know, you don't want to accept me, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But I care about her because I know that she wants to see her family.
Yep.
But she's grown to the point to where if it is, it is. If it's not, not, because she has been able to receive so much love from me. And covering her, protecting her, providing for her, that it gives her the strength to stay focused.
Yeah.
Y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know, so Jenny, is that similar? What helps you?
As far as
We got about 2 minutes left. Yeah, as far as about, you know, when you were dealing with all of that.
My mindset with my dad was always, I don't care if he never speaks to me again. I just want to see him in heaven. That was always my mindset.
Wow.
If he never accepts Lenny, I don't care. I
Wow.
want him to accept Jesus, and I want to see him in eternity.
And you know, that's real freedom.
Yeah.
When you made that decision,
Yeah.
and that's what that decision you making that and saying that the priority of him making to heaven is greater than him accepting my
Me or my spouse, yeah.
Yeah. A supernatural grace got involved with you in that situation.
And that also allowed, I think, us to forgive him in the end. And it also opened the door for God to work in him.
Yep.
Wow.
Because it wasn't me trying to control or hang on.
Yes.
It was giving it over to the Lord truly and saying, I leave it to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, tell me the name of this church as we preparing to close. What's the name of the church?
The House STL.
The House STL.
Yes, sir.
We'll have to talk about that, why it's named that. But you have heard from Pastor Leonard and Pastor Jenny, wonderful young couple that are doing great things in St. Louis. It's a powerful church here in St. Louis. Pastor Leonard, would you tell them how they can contact you guys' ministry?
Yeah, our website, thehousestl.org. You can email us info@thehousestl.org. Love for you to come through. Love for you to come in. We call this place family. It's the whole premise of it is prodigal son story, of expecting the prodigals to come home. The beautiful piece of that story is when the Bible says he came to himself and said, I got to get back home.
Wow. Pastor Jenny, last words?
I'm grateful for the time. Grateful for you being here.
Yeah.
And, I love this conversation.
Yep.
I look forward to it moving on.
Amen. Well, you heard it from us. This has been Apostle Byron Cooper and Pastor Leonard and Jenny. Look forward to seeing great things coming. Be prepared, for the restored woman is going to turn the heads of those that's religious. Bye-bye.